So if you are moving from ASP.NET to ASP.NET Core newly, so there are several things changing from ASP.NET to ASP.NET Core. So settings configuration file is one of them, and in ASP.NET the data is in XML format, and here it is in JSON format, and reading of that data is a bit different in ASP.NET Core. So let us see some 7 ways to read the config in ASP.NET Core. So let's start. So I have taken MVC application, just now I have created it. So if you see this, so this one is having one controller and app settings. So I have added this app settings section just now. So app settings, this is having a image settings, and image settings is having a store in database and create thumbnail settings, and logging, log level, default, something, some logging configuration. So let's try to read this one. So app settings, image settings, store in DB. So let's try to read this property. So let's start the first way of reading it. So the first way of reading it is with a get section. So for that, first we need to inject I configuration into our controller. So if you look at this one, startup.js, CS, startup.cs, configuration is there. So when you run the application, this configuration is loading. So we are going to inject this in our controller. So let's do that. Private read only I configuration So now let's add a constructor. The shortcut to create constructor is ctor double tap. Okay, it will inject constructor snippet, and so here on I configuration. So you know this dependency injection, I configuration equal to configuration. So now we have a configuration in our controller. So now let's read this underscore configuration dot get section. So what is our section name we are trying to read? It's a app settings. So we need to read this one. So we need to read this section again. So dot get section of, so we are done with 2, then we need to read the third one. So get section of store in DB. Okay, so we got a final property, then dot value. So now we read this, and we need to assign this. Let's assign this to viewback dot some data equal to this one, and let's go to the view, and print this one. Control C, Control V, welcome, and the setting data. So let's put it store in DB, viewback dot data. So I'm just displaying it. Okay, so Now let's run it. So I'm running it. See that store in DB property is true. So we got the value. So this is a first way of reading it. And let's look at the second way of reading it. Second way is similar to this, but here, so instead of reading this as a section, actually if you look at the settings, it's not a section, it's a property. So we can use get value directly. Get value. So what is the type of value here? Boolean. So this is the second way of reading it. So using get section dot get value. So we're reading the section and the property we are reading with get value. Okay. This is the second way of reading it. Okay. Let's run it. So now we got the value. Okay, this is the second way of reading it. Let's read it in third way. So we are reading get section and get section again and get value. So we are going through the chain. So we can actually put all together. So and read directly using a get value. So like so I want to put it here and this one. So I'm removing these two. So if you look at this type of reading, so I'm directly pointing to configuration and get value of this path. So I'm mentioning the path here. So this is a section and this is a section and this is a property. So your path should be separated with colon. Okay, you can read like this inline, get value inline configuration. Okay. So now it will go through app settings, image settings and store in DB. So we'll get the value here. So let's run this. This is a third way of reading it. See, this time also we got the data. So this is third way of reading it. Okay, let's see the fourth way of reading it. Fourth way of reading it using a binding. So for that we need to generate a C# class matching with this JSON schema. So to generate this C# class, there is a shortcut in Visual Studio. Copy your JSON first, then go to your models, create a model class, app settings. So I have created my model class, and then so here I want to generate C# schema for matching JSON. Okay, go to edit, then paste special, then paste JSON as a classes. So I have selected that and it is generated my C# schema for that JSON. So now I don't want this root, I want only app settings. So I don't want this logging also. So this is my app settings schema. So this is app settings and image settings and properties. Now, so we have created a C# class, and in home controller So here I want to modify this, and it is my app settings class. So I just now created, this is my class, and this is settings, and here I want to instantiate it, settings equal to new settings. Then I need to bind it this C# to the particular section. So configuration dot get section of, so what is our section name? So our section name is app settings. So create app settings here, get app settings dot bind it to settings. So here we are reading this section, and binding it to our class just now we have created. That's it. So now read it. So here instead of reading it from configuration, so I can directly read it here, underscore settings, so dot image settings dot store in db. So like this we can read. So I'm running it. This is the fourth way of reading it. So using a bind. So I'm running it. See, we got the data now. So it's true. So this is the fourth way of reading app settings. And let's see the fifth way of reading it. Fifth way of reading data is using IOptions. So for that, so we need to make it IOptions, Control X. So add this namespace Microsoft.extensions.options and make it generic for app settings, then settings. Okay, then here also in this place, let's read it, the same thing. I want to read it, so make it settings. Then here I want to simply assign this settings. So I have just injected app settings here, and I can read here like settings dot value dot settings dot store in db. Okay, so but to inject here we need to configure it in a startup.cs. So let's configure it. So let's go to startup.cs, go to configure services method, and then configure here the fifth way. So here services dot configure, and it's a app settings of configuration yeah, got it, dot get section of, what is our section name? Our section name is app settings. So So configuration is done. So this is fifth way. So if we configure here, so app settings section, then we can read it in any controller by using a dependency injection. So out of 7 ways, this is the best way of reading it. So let's run it. So now also we got the value. So it's a fifth way of reading app settings data. Let's do the sixth way of it. Sixth way, yeah, so settings, then here, so we need to remove app setting options, then it's just settings. What happened? So here also need to remove. So this is the sixth way of reading this. So this is it. So for this also we need to, so here we are having a injection, so we need to configure it in startup.cs. This is a fifth way. Comment or remove it, and let's configure our sixth way. Where app settings equal to new app settings. So we have created object for it. Then so new configure from configure options of app settings. This is our C# class. Okay, then configuration dot get section. What is our section name? Our section name is app settings. This is our section name, app settings. Then dot configure of, so app settings object we just now created. So let's break it into 2 lines for readability. Yes. So then services dot, so we need to here add singleton. So you can add a scoped also. So add scoped also, but it is never changing thing. So it's better to add a singleton. Add singleton of app settings. So this one. Done. So this is a sixth way configuration, and run it. So now also we got the value. So it's true, got the value. This is a sixth way of reading it. So the seventh way is similar to this, but in generic way. So if you want to, so now we have 2 sections, app settings and logging. So we have added app settings. So we have added this for app settings. So in future you want to add 10 sections, you need to write 10 times this one. So if you have 100 sections, you need to write this 100 times. So duplicate code. So for that we can do it in a generic way. So we can create an extension method, then we can add it in a generic way. So let's do that. So I want to add extension class first. Some add a folder utilities. Now add the class it's a settings, right? Config extensions. So this is my class. So to put an extension method, it should be static. Then I want to add a static method, public static void add configuration of it's a generic t, then this of iService collection services. So let's add a namespace here, dependency injection namespace. Then make it for clear clarity. Then next one, configuration and the namespace, comma string configuration node. This is it. Then so we need to accept t as a class. Okay. So if string dot is null or empty, this one configuration, then configuration node equal to type of t dot name. So where instance, so let's create instance for our C# app settings class equal to activator dot create instance using a reflection of t. So now configure this thing. So this part. So here it is a t. Here it is an instance. Then configure this also. So here it is an instance. So add a configuration namespace. So what is in here it is a configuration. So now done. So here it is hard coded. So it's a node. So what is the node you want to read? So it's a section name, configuration section. So this is a generic way of doing it. So now we can do add configuration. So simply we can remove this. We can remove this and we can add configuration of a type. So app settings. Okay, then we need to pass parameters. So configuration part, configuration, comma, what is our tag name or a section name? This is the section we want to add it. So this is how we can do it in a generic way. So if you in future, if you want to add more, suppose I want to add logging also, so I can add logging simply here, logging and your logging C# class. So this is how we can do it for multiple. So if there are some 10 sections, we can do just 10 lines of code. So redundancy is removed. So this is how we can do it, and this code is same, and let's run it. See, now also we got the data. This is true, and these are the 7 ways of reading the config. And thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.